Good morning, everybody. Everybody, I appreciate y'all for coming on. About to have a pretty good segment today. Shout out to all the Patriots. Shout out to America. Everybody who supported and helped the lives of 9/11. Shout out to you guys. Got a good message for today. I'm gonna start it off, and then we can continue with the show. Appreciate everybody for coming on. Like, follow, share, and subscribe to this video.
My live broadcast has already been taken down a few times, and I'm just not going to take that risk. But I do have a picture here on this side right here. You can see it. I was in 7th grade when 9/11 happened, and I remember it vividly because I was asleep. My biological father, given the fact that he was in and out of our lives, he had woken me up and told me that we're being attacked. We have been attacked. We're under attack right now. We're being attacked. And I remember sitting up like, wait, what? And I'm kind of like a little shook, a little, by it. And sure enough, he turns on my TV in my bedroom, and we used to have one of those little small TVs, and sure enough, turn it on, and the buildings are on fire. And here's the thing. I watched them crumble, and I remember feeling horrible. I remember having to go to school, and the entire school was watching TV. I mean, no, we didn't have class. We weren't doing anything that day.
Nothing.
I remember it vividly. The one thing I want you guys to remember is that these people, innocent, died for didn't even need to die. We didn't need to lose those lives. And I was one of those people that it was an inside job. I was one of those people that believed that it was George Bush that made it happen. It was this, it was that. I mean, I came up with a slew of ideas, but at the end of the day,
Didn't even matter.
innocent lives were lost.
Right.
Do you see what I mean? And if we're going to talk about, what this means, or what it means to Americans, and how much it has an impact and an effect on us, it does. It does when innocent Americans are dying for no reason. So whether you believe it was an inside job and the government had something to do with it, or you believe that it was actual terrorists, that's up to you. That is up to your discretion, whether you want to believe that or not. That's up to you. But the one thing I will say is that we're dealing with a different enemy right now. And though I pay tributes and I say a prayer for those families impacted by, the events at 9/11, right now we need to remember that we're dealing with a different type of enemy right now. We're dealing with somebody who hates the state of America, who hates Americans for being patriotic. It took for something like 9/11 for everybody to forget their political affiliation and stand firm together. Do we need to experience that type of thing again in order for everybody to be, come in unison? I guess that's why the subject I'm going to have later, when I go live later, it's going to be about the Second Amendment. But right now we're dealing with something from the inside. From the inside of our country, we're dealing with a problem. Domestic terrorism. Groups of people who come together to terrorize and try to set ablaze the streets, businesses, who want to conquer homes and who want to do, cause harm to other people for no reason. Those things are happening right now. Those things are happening, and nobody really seems to understand how severe that this problem really is. We're dealing with the bigger issue right now. And I will pay my respects, but if you see anybody disrespecting the people that had died at 9/11, the firefighters and the people that had died trying to rescue others, that just goes to show you they do not belong here. They do not belong in this great country. if they're going to disrespect innocent lives being lost. Whether you believe it was an inside job or and you're a conspiracy theorist, or you believe that it was actually terrorists, there are people still in the world that hate America. There are still people out there that hate what we stand for, that hate our freedom, our ability to be who we are, because we're the strongest, most powerful nation in the world. That is who we are and who we'll always be, even when there's problems coming from the inside. So when you go out today, you know, I do this every day. I see a flag, I start saying a prayer for all those who've shed
Appreciate
blood
everybody who joined.
for this country, for what that flag represents, and all the innocent lives that have been lost. American lives. We can go on and on. The point of the matter is, we're dealing with the problem here at home. And we need to be able to put ourselves in a position to help one another, to love one another, to embrace one another. We can't keep sitting here being, you know, full of hate, full of animosity, anguish, trying to pump. They try to pump fear into us, so we turn around and in return we try to pump fear into them. I mean, it's an ongoing thing. You know, let today be a reflection as to what could possibly happen again. And if we keep going in the direction that we're going as Americans, we could face an even bigger problem, a foreign problem. They see us going at it, they're going to take advantage. They can easily, they see us crumbling apart and separating and putting each other, you know, in different categories and labeling each other. This is exactly what they want. We are not a communist country.
We'll never be.
We are not a socialist country. We never will be.
You hear me?
Unfortunately, there are people here who oppose the presence of the United States being the United States. Those are the enemies. But there has to be some kind of ground that we can meet. That's you know, to the point where we can have some kind of information exchange, where we can talk to one another, be cordial with one another, at least on days like this.
Yes.
All these rioters and so-called peaceful protesters and all these people out here who wish to destroy this great nation don't realize how good we have it here and how free they actually are. They go out in the streets and they scream at people for not believing the same things that you know that you do,
anti-American,
or that others do. They come out and they
insurrectionists,
push people around, and they stomp people out, and they chase people around, and they literally do everything that they can to break down the person's spirit for being a proud American. That's not the American way. And that's not the way that we do things.
Yeah.
Today is 9/11. And pay your respects. Say your prayers. Right now, also remember that we're dealing with an enemy right now. We're all dealing with the common enemy, and it's one of the biggest threats we've ever had to deal with since the last Civil War. And the last Civil War was understandable. Both sides, they literally felt like they had to rise up and do what they had to do against one another. I'm not siding with either when I say that. I'm just saying that one felt.
Disturbance here. But get the message, get the point. Like, share, follow, and subscribe. Hope everybody having a good day today. Hope everybody could get a good message out of that. Where were you on that? You know, you want to know now. Are you that hot shut about F America? Here we go.
Fighting a war with gadgets and computers and people on phones and literally having disputes with others because the media drives their narrative so far down people's throats they actually absorb it and believe it because it makes them feel a certain way. So we're dealing with a different type of warfare.
Logical.
It's psychological warfare. We're dealing with a different problem. And technology is partially to blame for that because of the way they utilize the technological advances we've made since 2001. They've created turmoil and animosity in the midst of the American people, on American soil. Well, who could have that power? What kind of people have that power? Politicians? Our central banking system? The media? Who has that power? People that own these social media platforms? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. It's being controlled and it's being manipulative to other people so that they can make them the enemies of the real United States citizens, of people that are patriots, that love this country, that are willing to die for it. They're pushing those buttons because that's what they want to see. If they could recreate 9/11 and claim responsibility, they'd be proud to. That's how much they hate this country and what we stand for.
Right.
If the left could perpetuate the same kind of, reenact the same kind of event such as 9/11 and have the responsibility as their own, they'd be proud to do it because they don't care about America. The left does not care about you, your hard work, your children, your legacy, your name. They don't care about none of that. They want to take that and throw it away, piss it away like it never existed. Why? Because they hate America. They hate American values, everything we stand for. They literally turned the left into the enemies we face in foreign countries. To think that way, it's a sickness. To hate so much, it's a sickness. And we don't hate. That's not in our nature to be hateful. It's not in our nature to be spiteful and vindictive. That's what they do. And they're starting it little by little. First, they're going to start grabbing cartons of eggs and throwing it at patriots and people, interviewing people just because they have different opinions and different points of views. First, they start throwing eggs. And then they start throwing water bottles filled with dry cement. And then next thing you know, they're throwing just full-blown boulders and rocks. And they're graduating little by little to the point where now they're executing patriots in the middle of the street just for wearing these, just for being who we are, for believing in this great nation, for being patriotic. We're being punished for being patriotic at whose hand? Whose hand is responsible for making us feel like we should be punished for being proud, for being Trump supporters, for being conservative, or for not agreeing with their opinions because that's the way that they feel. So we don't agree with the way that they feel, they can attack us. They attack people of color. People of color. And it's sad we have to use that terminology in 2020, but that's shit that they made up. Now they're attacking their own. Black Lives Matter will attack their own if they don't agree. Either conform or they dispute. And they revolt. And they attack. That is an issue. We don't need another 9/11. We don't need another 9/11 to show us that there are terrorists. They're roaming the streets right now, screaming Black Lives Matter and death to America. That's what they're doing.
Death to America.
They're doing everything that they can to smear this president. And why? Why, when you ask someone who hates Trump so much why they hate Trump so much, they have no explanation other than the false narratives they've been taught to repeat. They're parrots. They get taught, the information gets fed to them, and then they just repeat it. It's regurgitated nonsense they get from the media, and they don't know why. They don't have proof. Hating the leader of the free world is just the first step. What do you think's going to happen if we elect another Republican or a conservative? Because Republicans and conservatives aren't always the same thing. You know, you're going to have Democrat conservatives. I've seen them. I swear to God, it's the weirdest thing. All I'm saying is that you could have the same kind of problems, and they could get progressively worse. They claim to want everyone to have peace and equality. They do everything that they do in the name of equality. They'll beat your ass in the name of equality. You don't agree with them, they're going to throw rocks at you. Milkshakes full of, dry cement. Why? Because you don't agree with them. In the name of equality, they will cause more harm and more damage than they will good before they let this country be the greatest that it should ever be. And that is what we need to completely eliminate and get away from this country. They need to get away from here. We need to push them out. We need to drive them out. They need to go back into their rat holes, their mom's basements, wherever.
You don't like this country, you can.
We're facing a problem right now, and it needs to be taken care of.
Right. It's like you living at your mother's house.
They're mobilizing in the streets right now. They're trying to mobilize on your neighborhood. If you are not a person of color, and even if you are a person of color and you don't agree with them, they want what's yours because it's theirs. That's what they think. Their sense of entitlement is making them feel that America belongs to them, and they don't have to put in any work for it.
What's going on, man?
For them to bestow those kind of actions upon American citizens for no damn reason. Who would install that kind of thinking in their minds to hate somebody just based on the color of their skin? Do they forget who freed the slaves?
Yes.
Do they forget that we as conservatives in the Republican Party weren't against civil rights leaders?
Yes.
Do they forget that?
Yes.
They're trying to ruin this great nation. They're trying to ruin America right in front of us.
Amazing.
Don't let them.
Don't back down.
They don't deserve this country.
Don't back down.
They don't deserve to walk on my ancestors' lands.
You don't.
To claim it to be theirs.
Exactly.
They don't need to be burning down any more buildings.
Talking about they
stop them. Do what you can.
Stop them now.
Don't let them burn down America anymore. We've already had heartache as American people.
Right.
We've already dealt with enough pain inflicted on us by who. Come up with your own result. That's up to you to determine and come to a conclusion of.
Right.
This is the left. This is the left, and we're facing them right now, and they will not leave America. They will be stomping on the same grounds, screaming the same bullshit unless we do something about it. And we need to do something now before something like this happens again.
Exactly.
We need to do something now.
Do you really want to see your
And
country
when
back?
something like this happens again, guess what? It ain't going to be at the hands of some Islamic terrorists that come from Afghanistan, and it ain't going to be from, you know, some people who just hate America that aren't, you know, born citizens to this country. It's going to be from within.
Exactly.
They seek to destroy everything that we've built, and we can't have that. So today, like I said, we'll be going live later talking about the Second Amendment. If you guys can, please go to thenativeconservative.com, make a donation, help my cause out. That's how I keep the lights on. That's how I deliver these messages to you. That's how I'm able to speak to you. So if you guys can help me out, get a shirt or make a donation, it helps. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time. Don't forget, say a prayer for those families. Say a prayer for the families of the lost loved ones of people that died in you know, shedding blood for the war, shedding blood for, you know, causes they didn't realize they were going to die for on that day 19 years ago. And don't let anybody else near you, away from you, close enough. This is all home. It doesn't matter. Don't let nobody stomp on our country just because they're hateful. Do what you guys can. I hope to see you guys later. Thank you.
And I appreciate you guys for coming on. Had to get that message out and put that message out there for all of you guys. But I hope y'all got that message, because this was happening right now. You know, anti-American coming in droves by the hundreds, screaming death to America, and they are this color, and they are white, and they come by many names: Black Lives Matter, Antifa, whatever you want to call it, anti-American. You got to figure out which side are you on. Which side are you on? So appreciate everybody for coming on. Like, follow, share, subscribe. You know, and try to get that message out there. Peace.